Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm here to share a Shabby Chic box that I created for a swap. And the main theme that we had to create was pink, and we had a choice of what we wanted to do. And one of the options was to create a box, so that's what I chose to do. And I started off with a paper mache box. It is approximately 7 by 7. And I'll just kind of tip it here so you guys can check out the sides and also the bottom. I did opt to paint my box pink, is how I started doing my box, and I used chalk paint. I also layered on this pretty pink paper that I've had in my stash for a long time. It's white with pink flowers. And then you can also see I used some braid trim around the edges. And then I also added feet to my box. I used some little spool thread, those spools that you use for thread. I painted them pink, and then I also added some flat back pearl trim that I got at Hobby Lobby around those just to decorate them up a bit. And you can see on the side that I did decorate it with some dangle trim. And I placed it slightly underneath where the box lifts up. And it's this pink dangle trim. And it did come with the pearls right here in the middle, but I went ahead and added pearls on the rest of the little flower dangles. And then I also added this little pink rosette trim that has some pearls wound through it on top of it. I just like the little extra layered look. And so I use that all the way around the whole side. And then I also added this fun little white trim up here that I've had in my stash for a while. And again, that had the beads and everything on it. Beautiful trim. And then going to the top of the box, again, you can see the layer of paper that I added. I also put the braid trim around the edges. And then on top of that, I did layer this postcard image with a rose on it. And I'm not quite sure where I got that. I think it was in some Happy Mail from somebody. So I'm not quite sure who is the original designer of that digital, but it is a digital image. And then I also used some more of that rosette trim around the edge of that. I also went ahead and added, you can see I had some like wood pieces, and I painted those. They were brown. I painted them pink with a chalk paint. And then I also went ahead and added all the pearls that you see on there. That took a while, but I really do love how that added a little extra detail to the wood piece. And it was two separate pieces that I kind of cozied up next to each other when I glued them down. And so I used that kind of as my base for my little flower cluster. And then I went ahead on top of that and I added these little pearl bead pieces that come from Hobby Lobby in the wedding section. I added some fun pink flowers, and I also used Wink Stella on them, so then you can kind of see a little bit of glitter on it. I also layered up some white leaves behind it. And then I also chose to kind of wind the little flower stems coming out just to add a little extra detail on those. And so then I also added one flower up at the top with some more white leaves. And then in the corners I had this really fun trim that I got a long time ago from Angel Dreams Crafts Kim on Etsy. And it's a little butterfly trim. And so I did put that up here. And then also here I cut it apart, so it's kind of like an applique trim. And then I also added some flat back pearls to the side. And so I can lift it up and just kind of show you what I included on the inside. So I do have a fun little gift bag, and I do have a video already out of these little bags that I created. And I stuck a bunch of fun little bling pieces in there for my swap partner. I also added some vintage rosette ribbon roses. And here's a little embellishment that I made a long time ago that I added in here. It's like a little dress form embellishment. I added a flower that I created. I have some couple of hand crocheted doilies, and then also like a little vintage doily also. The hand crocheted doilies my mom made for me. I have some vintage seam binding, lace seam binding in pink. I tried to do as much as I could with pink or white when I chose to put items in here for my swap partner. So I have some white rosette trim, also some pink rosette trim, some bridal trim, some other pretty sheer embroidered trim. I do have some bead dangle trim that I added. And then I have kind of some semi-vintage little doily pieces that I put in here. This one is really fun. You could cut up the rosette in the middle and then use these separate, or you could just use that. Here's another crocheted type doily in pink. Another doily in a little bit different color pink. Also this one in pink. And then this one I chose, it did have pink in it. It does have some other pastel colors, but I thought it was a really fun one. Again, my swap partner could leave it as is, or they could cut them up and use just the different pieces on that one. Here's another vintage one that does have a little bit of pink on it, on the edges, which I thought was a really nice one. And another multicolored doily with pink in it. And then you can kind of see the inside of the box, and I chose to line it with the braid trim, and then up in the corners I added a couple of little flowers just for some extra embellishment on the inside. And then you can also see the top of the inside cover. I also just put paper. I did want to put trim around it, but then I felt like it might interfere with the cover going on and off, so I just left it. And I did wrap or not wrap, but I did paint just a little bit of gesso on the edges, and I also shabbied up the edges of that paper just a little bit. I do want to thank everybody so much for watching today. Hopefully you were inspired by my little Shabby Chic box. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.